and started working at Dharmaram Vidyashetram and also Christ University as a teacher, mentor, PhD research guide, and a postdoc researcher. And I know him personally for the last couple of years because we've been working together in the domain of hypnosis. He's one of the familiar figure in hypnosis in India. He is the director of a center on hypnosis in Pala. It's a place in Kerala. The name of the center is Jyotir Bhavan Center, which was started by his uncle, who is a very famous hypnotherapist during 1960s and 70s in Kerala. And he's also the chief editor of International Journal for the Transformation of Consciousness, which is also a pioneer journal in the area where it combines psychology, philosophy, science, and other domains of research in the area of consciousness. So, Father Chandragundel, welcome to this talk, and all the other participants who registered with us and who is with us today. I welcome all of you on behalf of your Dost Academy. Thank you. Over to you, Father.
Good evening to you all. I don't know, maybe somebody from Europe and US and elsewhere. So maybe a good day or good morning, good afternoon, and good evening as we are in India. So after so many months, maybe more than a year, Ginny and myself, we were meeting. As Ginny, Dr. Ginny K. Gopinath, who is a well-known figure in behavioral change and wellness, and especially coaching very high teams like the Kerala football team and many other things. And we have collaborated for organizing many national and international conferences. So thank you very much, Ginny, for inviting me for this such an August assembly of scholars, professors, teachers, students. And I am happy to relate to you in whatever ways the practices which I am doing. Maybe my suggestion would be at the end will be that, we could have, as we have so many researchers and students, professors are there. In India, we don't have a center for consciousness or behavioral change studies. So we can have a kind of a consortium. So with that, I will start with two of my personal experiences. And then I move on to what is physics, quantum mechanics, and how this quantum mechanics is connected with the consciousness, and what is the present day research and how it can be applied to wellness, wholeness, happiness, and maybe even to holiness. So this is the way I will. So initially, maybe 5 to 10 minutes I may be taking by speaking, and then I will share with you my PowerPoint. So this will be the methodology I will be practicing. So two incidents have really defined my research into this consciousness and also into quantum healing. So one was in 1990. In 1990, I had a dream. Till that day, I never had any any fear about death. But I had a dream that I am in front of a mortuary. I don't know what was actually my role there. I saw that in packets of plastics, almost more than 100 dead bodies were there, and they were charred to death, and they have no face. What I can see only the different shapes of the faces that we cannot recognize. whether they are foreigners, whether they are Indians or Africans, or it is colorless. And there were some candles over there. And also, since there were also so much of stench, there is also incense were burning. So after that, I was really afraid, and I asked to a friend who was also, a priest, who was also a professor of mine, and I asked him what would be the reason that I am seeing this. And then he told me that you might have seen a film, and then it might be recurring. So that would be the way he was explaining. Then I forget about it. Then after almost 1 week later, the chief editor of Deepika, for which I was also working as a journalist in Bangalore, he told me that there was a plane crash, and go and report the matter to the Deepika newspaper. So all on a sudden, I rushed to the place, and I had the accredited card of the journalist. So I was able to go there, and then I found that a 320 plane, which was chartered from um, Mumbai to Bangalore, it was crashed, and it was crashed in a specific place. It was first running over a golf course, and then it was in a very marshy place. And people, when I reached there, dead bodies were simply taken up by the fire force and many others. Since I had the journalist's card, I could go around and even into the plane. So that was a very tragic event. I saw the dead bodies coming up and then piling up, taken to the mortuary and all. So after that day, I went to the next day, since Deepika asked me to get more details, and many were admitted in the Victoria Hospital. So I went there, and what I saw, that mesmerized me, and it surprised me, and it shocked me. I saw exactly what I dreamt 1 week ago. That was really touched me. And then I went again, so I could explain further about that, but since we don't have much time, so that incident really touched me. I went to the same professor, and then I asked him, what is this, what I was seeing earlier in a dream, and all on a sudden here this incident, that event, and the dead bodies. So he told me that might be this is called in Jungian terms premonition. And then he asked me to read Carl Jung's book, Man and His Symbols. And in his Man and His Symbols, he narrates lots of such stories of himself. And even writing that book, he had also a dream that he was speaking to millions of people. And he found that this can only be done by writing a book. So therefore, he called 14 of his very close friends and divided the subjects. And after completing, send it to the publishers, printing press, and just 10 days later, he died. So this incident of premonition made me to study psychology. Till that day, I was thinking that psychology is not a science at all. Since I am from the hardcore physics, I thought that this will be something very interesting, or it may be a pseudoscience, and why they were calling it as a science. So those were my questions. But after reading through Man and His Symbols, Carl Jung, and also many other psychologists, I found that this is really a science, and it deals with the psyche, the mind. And that was one of my transformation points. Then again, when I was a young boy, my uncle, as Dr. Ginny was narrating, my uncle, he was one of the very prominent hypnotherapists in Kerala, and he used to heal people. And those days, people were having lots of possession cases. Many of them were brought, and particularly when I was there, there was a boy who was brought there, and he was struggling, and he was only a 19-year-old boy, but even almost 6 people were there to handle him. And he was though not very strong, but at that moment I could see that, nobody could control him. So he was brought to my uncle's place, Father Gio Kapilimakal, and then he employed the hypnotherapy, and then he started asking questions. Who are you? So the first question was, see, 19-year-old boy. So he was speaking in term of an 80-year-old person. I am Kottapan. So his name was, and then he was narrating that, and then also threatening my uncle. When my uncle said that you have to leave this person, I am also a pujari. I am also a priest like you, like an old man. And then somehow he was able to, there are lots of stories about that, but I conclude that, so he was sent away from that person. And then he asked, is there anybody else there? Then there was a laugh. Ha ha ha! I am Tresiama. So that means a female voice was there. That also in the voice of an elderly person. So she was also. Then anyone else? Then it was said that, I am Kunyapan. So I was present there, and this Kunyapan was his father, and Tresiama was his grandma, and Kochapan was his grandfather. So all these three people were in the same person. So people like me who are witnessing this, it was a possession of three people. But after eliminating all of them, and he was brought into calmness, peace, and my uncle was telling me that this is not a possession, this is multiple personality disorder. So as we all know, yeah, I don't want to speak more about those things, but I could say that. So this is the way our human psyche was really showing into the different ways and the power. So these two incidents really made me to look at into the different problems, and I connected with all this. My uncle has written a book on possession cases and the mental illnesses, and he would say that 99% of these possession cases are mental illnesses. So I had the opportunity to later learn from the great masters from India like Ginny, and then also many others from Europe, US, and even from Milton Erickson's friend and associate, Dr. Ernest Rossi. So I have combined all of them, and my uncle has already developed a psychotherapeutic therapeutic tool which is known as psychoreligio-therapy. I will speak about it later. I added the scientific dimensions to it, and now what I am proposing is that I am utilizing this quantum psychoreligio-therapy, QPRT, and I found that this is an very excellent tool. In a way, we are capable of transforming people. Mental illnesses can be changed, and also we can enhance the capacity of many of the people. So this is what I want to share with you. Now I will share the screen, and we will. So the Georgian Counseling Center is my place. So these are the two incidents, personal incidents, which really touched me and transformed me. So let me, all my studies were on quantum mechanics, physics, and philosophy. So therefore, I found it so fascinating. And really, we could say that, what is physics? Physics is about the matter, the macroscopic matter, microscopic matter, and the middle medium of matter. We could also say that, with the eyes we see, which will be governed by the classical physics. Classical physics, we could see that, starting from Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, and many others, and coming up to the Newton, the Newtonian three laws, and also the law of gravity. The law of gravity, according to Newton, was something a force. So we remember that, apple falling down and all, it is a force. So classical physics is known as deterministic. That means everything is absolutely certain. If you know the present state of a system, you will be able to predict the future. So absolute predictability, absolute certainty. So that is what the classical physics. And later we see that, single-handedly Albert Einstein has developed theory of relativity. So in 1905, there is the special theory of relativity, and in 1915, almost 10 years later, we have the general theory of relativity. So what is the uh, differences? So in 1905, he was speaking about the accelerating bodies, and the accelerating bodies will have three effects. That is time dilation, length contraction, and the mass will be becoming infinity. So these are the three important things. Accelerating body, that means, any body which is moving almost to the velocity of light. Then space and time, which was in Newtonian mechanics, it became space time. That means four dimensional. And then he developed mathematics for it. So this theory of relativity, we can look through the macroscopic lenses, or maybe a telescope. The first one, the classical physics, is governs whatever we see with the eye. We can build a bridge, we can build a house, and all those things are governed by the Newtonian mechanics. And the theory of relativity, huge masses like galactic clusters, galaxies, sun and the planets and all those things, and as well ultra fast light, that is photons and all those things. And then we come to quantum mechanics. So what is actually the quantum mechanics? Quantum mechanics is the greatest collaboration, intellectual collaboration, initiated by Planck, Max Planck, in 1900, December 14. He gave a lecture at the Humboldt University, Berlin. But in order to come up with that, he had almost 20 years of work. So I am here not to threaten you or to frighten you, but I have just to see that what is quantum. Perhaps we may not be know what exactly. So we can see that, that H is known as the Planck's constant, and that describes what is the smallest divisible element of energy. So H is the smallest divisible element of energy, that is 6.63. That means 6.62 something, almost so many dimensions are there, into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules per second. So that is actually a quantum. So when this quantum is almost moving toward zero, it will become either a classical or a macroscopic. So this H becomes the differentiating factor. Yeah, so these are the other mathematical, so which it is not essential, so I am not explaining. So there are a number of steps, at least three. That is, first was the Planck's constant, which was saying that absorption and emission of energy in terms of integral multiples of H. So any body which absorbs heat are in terms of Planck's constant, that is H 6.62 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules per second. Then we see that, the next expansion is by Einstein. So light is not a wave, but it is as a particle. So this is the second quantum development made by Albert Einstein. And then basing on that, de Broglie, a French scientist, he said that if light can become wave can become particle, why can't particle become wave? So we have this complementarity principle and other things which matter behaves as wave and particle. So the third phase is that of hydrogen spectrum, that is proposed by Niels Bohr. Hydrogen has different colors. How they are coming? That is that the excited state of an electron jumps to the higher orbits and it is releasing the color. So which has some maybe significance in our quantum healing. So later what we see is that the proposal by Hilbert space by many other mathematicians, and in that Heisenberg's matrix mechanics, Schrodinger's wave mechanics, these are parts of the Hilbert space, and we have certain principles: uncertainty, complementarity, and probability relations. Uncertainty is that with absolute certainty we cannot measure, that is the motion as well as the momentum or the position of an electron. Complementarity is that wave and particle together holistically explains the reality, and probability is that we can say that whether so maybe I can say that how many are here in the how many, or whether I am in my office or whether I am in my house. So we can simply say that a probability. Absolute certainty we will not be able to relate. Or maybe suppose that we have a coin and we are tossing the coin, and how many times it can be falling down on tail or head. It can only be said that a probability of 6 or 7. So maybe a probability of 60% it will be head, 40% will be the tail. So that way, we cannot absolutely predict, and we have in quantum mechanics what is known as the, instead of the deterministic, we have the indeterministic. So so this is exactly what quantum mechanics, and I am just deriving two possibilities, or two events taken by from the quantum mechanics. One is known as the quantum jump. So here you can see that the hydrogen atom will be having one particle, the neutron, and in the hydrogen nucleus we have the proton and an electron revolving around it. This electron will be absorbing energy and it jumps to the higher orbits. You can see these lines. So they jump by absorbing one quantum, then it will be to the first orbit, 2, then it will be to the second, 3 will be, this is in a metaphorical way I am telling. So integral multiples of h, and then jumps into the higher orbits. And then these are all excited states. They will not be remaining forever there. They will be coming back. As they are coming back, they will be releasing energy, and energy will be the light. We can compare this with our psychic states. So people will be may not be always on the ground state, in the normal state. Sometimes they will be excited, and they will be moving into higher and higher levels. So this can be applied. It is not in a actuality, but in a metaphorical way. So this is what I was just saying, that we can jump into the higher and higher orbits. The possibilities are there. The mind is capable of moving to higher levels of consciousness. So then again, another very interesting thing is that we can see that tunneling. See, we have a barrier. This is an electron, and that ball like that electron will not have the energy to jump over that barrier. Then what happens is that it tunnels. You can see that in the second picture, it will be tunneling through. It may not be capable of jumping over, but it is capable of tunneling. And this is the practical experimental results. This also, in a metaphorical way, we can say that, a person may have lots of problems. He may not be able to cross over it, but somehow he can find a path to tunnel through. Um, See, these are all the further developments. We have something now, the studies are going on in quantum consciousness, and then also the artificial intelligence. So the computers and artificial intelligence, they are coming together, which is also known as the machine intelligence. They are making parallel processing, and many of those experiments were conducted, how our brain neurons, neuron networking, all those things. And then we could also hear about cyborgs implanting certain things in our brain or in our body. You can like in a mobile, you can upgrade maybe from 64 GB to 128 GB. So these possibilities are also possible at present for the human beings. That is known as the cyborgs. And then Elon Musk, he was speaking about the neurolinks. That is, implanting certain chips in your brain, and the children need not study. That means, it can be simply transferred to them. And this has been already studied with respect to some animals, like rat and other animals. They have already some certain knowledge can be transferred. So in quantum consciousness, there is Roger Penrose. He was the one, whether we can apply quantum mechanics into the consciousness, and he studied, and he has written a number of books. And a friend of mine, he's studying on that, and he's writing his thesis, quantum consciousness. So he's studying. I think that he might be also here. Then Penrose was proposing it in a theoretical way, and he was associating with the Hemroff, another medical doctor, and then he was saying that how this quantum reduction, so this is known as orchestrated objective reduction, ORH, OR, orchestrated objective reduction. So that will be happening in the neuron, and where we call it as microtubules. So this is the Penrose-Hemroff relations, or the theory. And now the scientists are trying to find whether this reduction is happening in the brain, but unfortunately we have not find any experimental results. But maybe that we are lacking the tools. So maybe in the next 10 years we will be capable of having quantum bio neurocomputing. We have also different interpretations on quantum mechanics. There is the most important one is Copenhagen interpretation under the leadership of Niels Bohr, Heisenberg, Born, and many others. But Einstein, Schrodinger, and many others were not accepting this indeterministic interpretation. So David Bohm was the one who proposed that, a holistic interpretation of quantum mechanics. His famous book, Wholeness and Fragmentation, and he has mathematical. I did my doctorate comparing these two interpretations, Copenhagen and the Bohmian mechanics. And in the Bohmian mechanics, it is very fascinating and interesting that a quantum potential is guiding the particle. So we have already heard about that, how the mind will be guiding the body. So in a way, metaphorically, we can say that, so this interpretation can be taken. So how much it is capable of quantum mechanics in developing a quantum consciousness, we are still at the infant stage. What we can get at present is a metaphorical logo epistemic interpretation. Maybe it takes some more time in order to apply the physical reality, physical theory of quantum mechanics into biology, into neurology, and to develop a quantum consciousness. But at present, what we can take is a metaphorical and logo epistemic. So we know that our body is composed of body, mind, and the spirit. So that the wholeness. So this metaphorical interpretation of the Bohmian interpretation that a quantum potential is guiding the particle, that also we can take. The spirit, the mind is guiding the body. We also see that in many religious traditions and also many philosophical traditions, macrocosm is the universe and the microcosm is that of the human being. So we can see that many great people come up with, and especially the uh, concepts or the theories and the philosophy of Buddhism, the mandala, where they try to transform the person through meditation. So the idam and then many other proposals, you could see that you can transform yourself into the Buddha or the Christ. The qualities and the personality of their value system could be imbibed. So with that intention, I have constructed a mandala here in my place. Maybe you are most welcome, which I call it as Vishwamitra Mandala. So I will be just showing it here, maybe late. So what is the quantum psycho-religiotherapy, QPRT? So an integration of different disciplines, that is religion and psychology, spirituality, sociology, science, cosmology. We could see that, the great spiritual masters of the Christian, the Hindu, the Buddhist, and other religious traditions, they have written many books. As an example, The Unseen Warfare, how to transform the person, and the Brihadaranya Upanishad. And then there is a beautiful Buddhist book, Bodhisattva Charyavadara of Shantideva of the 8th century. And he speaks about 80 different forms of anger and how to conquer that anger. So that way, the transformation of the personality is there. So what this QPRT, quantum psycho-religiotherapy, there is the psychoanalysis. That is, if a person is coming up with a problem, we have to understand what is the root cause and then find a solution. And this solution can be applied into his unconscious through suggestion by hypnotherapy. So you can place that person into hypnosis, and the solution to the problem can be given as a suggestion, and definitely it will have effect, because I have done a number of not a number, hundreds of such cases I have conducted, and this can be applied into the person's unconscious, and this interaction between the unconscious and the conscious, which Carl Jung used to say has really could be employed to transform the person. So I learned many things from the Buddhist monks. I teach physics at the Bailakupa Monastic University, and I also presented quantum mechanics and Madhyamaka Buddhism in JNU while His Holiness Dalai Lama was chairing, and he was always a kind of a mentor to me. So he asked me to go and teach the Buddhist monks. So deeply involved with the transformation processes of the Madhyamika Buddhism and the Hindu and the Buddhist spirituality. So this is what I said, that the Vishwamitra Mandala, where we are capable of integrating everyone into the field of friendship. This is actually from Panchakosha. That is from the Indian philosophical tradition. You have heard about Annamaya, but I changed a little bit. Annamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, and Anandamaya. So these are the, as we have seen that, the quantum jumps. So we have these different layers of the personality of a person, or these layers, and we are capable of jumping from one and ultimately into the Anandamaya, that is the blissful. A person can be capable of remaining into that blissful state, which in the Indian philosophical terms we can say that this is the Sthita Prajna. Again, as I said earlier, that the physical body, then the psychical body, and also the pneumatic. This is again another 3 ponds or 3 circles where the water will be flowing, one from the matter to the mind to the spirit. So that this is developed, these are all part of the Vishwamitra Mandala, where we are capable of transforming the person. And we can medical or medicine, allopathy is capable of transforming the physical body, but the problem, or the disease may not be always with the physical body. It can be of the mind, psyche, or of the spirit. So therefore, in order to have a total transformation, total healing of the person, we have to look into these 3 perspectives, that is of the physical, the psychical, and the pneumatic. So what is this? The wholeness. Wholeness is the bonding of the physical, the psychical, and the pneumatic. When we have a wholeness, all these 3 are in balance, then we have wholeness, and this wholeness will be leading to wellness. And this wellness is the state of a person's health, and that will be leading to the happiness. That is the state of beingness, how a person will be relating, and a person's existence. This can also lead to the other level, that is the holiness. Holiness, what I consider is that, endowed with values, compassion, love, service, selflessness, borderlessness, and transcendence. So this QPRT, or hypnotherapy, how we are using it. Initially, it was used to eliminate illnesses. Whatever be the problem, we can find, analyze the root causes, and how to eliminate that problem. We find a solution, and through the hypnosis, we can implant it into the unconscious of the person, that can be transmitted to the conscious mind, that is to the person in his living life, and that person can be cured. What, from my experience, what I have found, that it is within 2 hours a person can be, a person with anxiety, a person with the fear, a person with claustrophobia, so many types of phobias, neurosis, problems could be solved. We can also take into consideration of the children's dyslexia, and many other such problems could be solved through this therapy. So the core of it is hypnosis. First is psychoanalysis. We find the problem, and we find a solution by your own rational analysis, and implant it into the unconscious of the person, and bring back that person from hypnotic state to the normal life, and that became a therapeutic transformation of the person. We can also use this to enhance the person. It may not be always with illnesses. We can implant new leadership styles, courage, creativity, increasing imaginative power, Carl Jung used to say that how you could become a genius, it is through the conscious unconscious integration. So through the hypnotherapy, it is possible that we can have this conscious unconscious and to higher levels of consciousness. This person could be catapulted to higher levels of consciousness. So ultimately, this person can become a wholeness, wellness, happiness, and holiness, and empowering the person to have a stable and blissful consciousness. So this is what in the Indian philosophical terms we will be utilizing as Ananda Sthita Prajna. That means whether you are praising a person, whether you are criticizing a person, they will be remaining always the same. I can explain this with an example from a Buddhist story. In a Buddhist monastery, many people used to come, and then from that village, there was a woman. She became pregnant, and then the people in the village asked her, "Who is the culprit, or who is the father of the uh, child?" Then she said that this is the monk. Then the people became so angry, came towards him and asked him, "We never thought that you are such a nasty fellow." Then he simply asked, "Listen to them, what shall I do?" Then said, "You take care of this woman." And then he really took care of her. She delivered the child, and then in the best way, he cared for her. And then what happened? She had the conscience, and then she said that I am not the one. Then she related it to the people, to the villagers. They all came, and then saying sorry to the monk. And then he asked, "What shall I do?" Then he said that we will take away the woman, and then there is no problem. You are such a wonderful person. And then they were. So whether there is a criticism, whether there is a praise, you could see that that person was stable. And this is what we always call it as Sthita Prajna, that is undisturbed, undivided, unique consciousness. And this we can capable of attaining. It may not be always through the spiritual processes of many years, but through practices of many of these psychological transformative processes, it is capable of transforming the person in a total and integral way. So this is what I would say that the quantum healing. And I just wanted to say that metaphorically we can use the quantum mechanics at present in order to transform the human consciousness. Though there are research is going on, we may not be at present to apply or to employ the quantum theoretical insights into the mind. As I have shown earlier that quantum jump, quantum tunneling, I only just took two events or two experiments and the results which we could easily apply to the transformation of the human mind. So this is what the quantum healing, which I am trying to explain to you. And as I think we have a great number of researchers here associated, I think we don't have such a core group of researchers, people who are interested in consciousness studies and the transformation of consciousness. As Ginny is the executive editor of this International Journal for Transformation of Consciousness, we can come together, we can publish, and then we also need to have a kind of an institute and an academy. I am proposing to all of you not only this as just a lecture, but a possible connectivity that we all can come together into a further research consortium, Academy of Behavioral Change and Consciousness Research, and easily we can put it as ABCD group. So Academy of Behavioral Change and Consciousness Research Group, I think maybe under the leadership of Ginny, who is also a scholar, and he's also very dynamic, creative, and active. So possibility of coming together into a research group, and already a few of us are working together. There is Dr. Nesin, I think that she might be there from Nimhans. She is also working on hypnotherapy and how the audio signals can be converted into the visual signals in the brain during hypnotherapy. That is one research postdoc as she is doing. Then Dr. Gregory, he is doing on quantum consciousness. He is doing his PhD. And Dr. Celestin, he just completed his PhD thesis and awarded PhD on phenomenological consciousness. And there is a medical doctor, sister Dr. Navya. She is also into an MD. She is in St. John's Medical College completing. So we are already in a small group, and maybe I think we can have such a larger consortium where we can work together and come up with a larger way of relating and contributing to the whole humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. I think now we can open this for questions. Abhay, did we get any questions till now?
No, yes, we can ask the participants if they have any questions. Please feel free to text us. You can text the co-host, and I'll just switch on the chat section.
Otherwise, if you have time, then we can switch. I mean, allow them to ask also directly. That option is also there. Whichever is convenient for you. If you want to text the question, you can do that. Otherwise, you can unmute and raise the question. So there are a lot of people. Oh, okay. I think Dr. Chandragundal, I think you can directly.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yes. One question is that about Deepak Chopra. I have read that quantum healing. I think that book is of a very general philosophical explanation. I have invited Deepak Chopra and interacted with him, and he was there in Christ University for Science and Religion conference. He gave from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. on science and religion, and we had the speaking about quantum mechanics, quantum healing and all. But unfortunately, I didn't find any specific explanation about the quantum healing. So I have not taken that one from his book, but I thought that this way of a metaphorical way of explanation will be easier and to the higher dimensions of consciousness, so which he never used there. So as I said earlier, the quantum jumps into the personality, into the consciousness. This is what I proposed. I did not find it from his book. And what D stands for, ABCD, Academy of Behavioral Change and Consciousness Discussion or research. And QPRT is quantum psycho-religio-therapy. That means, what is consciousness is that we will be capable of comprehensively understanding. Consciousness cannot be simply understood by philosophy or by medicine or by computer science, but we need to have even spirituality, mathematics. We actually need to have all kinds of comprehensive tools in order to understand what is meant by. So though it is close to our head, I think that this is the farthest. We may not be able to understand what is this consciousness, what is the brain mind. In different places, in different perspectives are there. Some institutes are cognition, some other places are behavioral sciences. So it depends upon some places it will be about sleep. So in many European and American institutes they have, but I didn't find such kind of. I think in the IIT Jodhpur, they have actually, instead of consciousness, they use the word biological systems. And I was also there along with the others, so that, you know, for their MTech and BTech programs. So they were trying to develop a system, but consciousness is not that much used in the scientific terminology.
Yeah. The next question is, how can we apply quantum healing in our daily life?
Quantum healing, this is what I was expressing, that may not be any everyday event. We may not be able to relate it, but I think we can enhance our personality. So suppose that a person has a fear, so this fear can be eliminated. That is the illness that can be eliminated. We can delete, but we can also that more creative power. Or maybe a person wanted to have different leadership styles. So this, I think, is capable of implanting into the person, which his or her own consciousness is capable of enhancing it. If we are giving a seed to the unconscious, that person's own unconscious will further develop it. This is what I have seen. A person fearful of presenting things, and then maybe thinking that, you know, in old age a person is studying. So I have seen that, you know, qualitative and quantitative changes in the person.
Okay. Yeah. So there is another question. When one follows processes existing in Hindu or Buddhist philosophy, one would experience quantum jumps in their evolving consciousness. Is this understanding right?
Um, I I think that that is a true way of expressing. Not only every religious tradition, there we could see that, you know, there was a way of excited states into higher levels of consciousness. But what it may happen is that, you know, they may be stagnated in that consciousness. They may not be able to come to the ground level, to the ordinary level. When if we are they are not capable of coming back into the ordinary level, then that may create problems. Suppose that, you know, a person is into a meditative state, a trance. If that person is remaining in that level, then how an ordinary life will be capable of conducting? That will be difficult. So it can have problems, but it can also be possible. Sometimes what happens is that they are in the excited higher states, but incapable of coming back into the ground state. And these stagnated states, we may call it as, you know, crazy. So that can happen, and then you may go for psychological help.
Yeah, I think somebody wants to ask a question. Yes, Vibha. Abhay, can you? And I think you can ask. You can ask now. You're unmuted. Please ask.
I think Vibha hasn't connected to the audio.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. No worries. So please connect to the audio and you can ask the question. Otherwise, we'll go to the next question. Can Carl Jung's concept of collective and collective consciousness be used in quantum healing?
See, among all the very important psychologists, I think Carl Jung has given more importance to this healing and consciousness, unconscious, and also the healing. So definitely this concept of collective consciousness could also be used in quantum healing. And yeah, much more than quantum healing, I think that we can further develop this collective consciousness into what we call today as a networking. So our consciousness could be connected together, and maybe I don't know how to find the this networking is possible, but that collective consciousness could be done. This is what I think.
There's another question. When it comes to healing, is there any specific way, or is it just kind of hypnotherapy? And
Uh,
what is the tool that is used for this process?
Well, I have presented it as QPRT, that is scientific notions, psychological notions, religious notions, and a few other spiritual notions, all of them in a very integral and comprehensive way utilized into this QPRT. But one of the most important factors is that, only into the unconscious we can implant the suggestions. If we are in the ordinary psychoanalysis and all, any number of times you are speaking to that person may not be absorbing. It is like superconductivity. Whatever we are giving to that specific person as suggestion, it goes into the unconscious, and from the unconscious we can transfer to the conscious. So this conscious unconscious integration can be, and then I am sure that I am utilizing it in a yeah, much developed way, using that of Milton Erickson's hypnotherapy. So we can further do research, enhance it, and expand it. So that is the reason why I said that we need to have a ABCD.
Okay, Vibha, can you unmute and ask the question? Yes. Can you raise,
This
Dr. Sumati? Can you raise your hand? I'm not able to trace you here. She wants to ask a question.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Please ask, please. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting talk, Doctor. I have just a question. When you said you reach the unconscious and then through that command it to the conscious mind, isn't that what we do in hypnosis? So my question is, quantum is, I'm still not clear, where does the concept of quantum come in this context?
Yeah, I told you that I am not directly applying the quantum into the quantum QPRT. I am saying that we have not yet come to a stage where we could utilize the quantum mechanical theories into psychology. So it remains still as a physical theory. What I am telling is that it is a metaphorical, logo epistemic, a conceptual frame in which everything can be brought together to heal a person and to jump into the higher levels of consciousness. So I was utilizing that quantum jump, tunneling, and all those concepts in a metaphorical way.
Okay.
So the capability of the mind in solving certain problems we cannot jump over, but you can tunnel through, and also to reach out to the higher efficiency, higher imaginative power. So these are the way in a metaphorical way. That is what I, from the very beginning, I am telling.
I understand. Thank you. But when we think like that, then Narayanium is an example of using the mind and power to get healed.
Excuse me?
The Narayaniyam is a text of 1,000 verses, and each of them go into the healing, and the person got healed. But he got healed.
Yeah, so I said that, you know, that is acceptable, and maybe to some extent that is true. I said that, you know, many books like that, even from the Buddhist text, I don't know exactly Narayaniyam. I think I have read, but I am not remembering now. But
So that was a set of slokas only for healing the person. So
yeah, it could be utilized. Yes.
yeah. So I don't know about utilizing it, but that could be an example of using the power of the mind and the healing spiritual powers to evolve to a
Yes.
higher.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So we cannot simply eliminate the spirituality from this healing dimension.
Okay.
We can incorporate from all the religious wealth.
Yeah. Thank
Is
you.
this a Buddhist text, Narayaniyam?
No, it is a Hindu text.
Hindu
It's a
text, no?
Hindu sacred text.
Yeah, but this Bodhi Sattva Charyavadara is a Buddhist text which deals with the transformation of the person, 80 different types of anger, and how it is capable of changing from anger to stable consciousness. So this is by an 8th century Buddhist Lama, Shantideva. And this has been, see, this single book, I don't think that it is maybe 100 pages or more. So this has been taught for an year in the Bailakupa Sarah J Monastic University for their PhD program. And
Oh, nice. Right.
their PhD program is for 24 years.
Okay. Yes, Nandakumar. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a pranic healer and I practice pranic healing. So there we talk about, as you say, the pranamaya kosha is actually the etheric body. And so I just wanted to ask you whether quantum healing has got a connect. There's the same question in the chat also. Has got a connect with Reiki pranic healing? Is there a connect, or how is it related or different?
I'm sure that, you know, you can find similarities and common elements, and see, these are all different theoretical perspectives. So Reiki has its own theoretical framework. Kundalini has another theoretical framework, and I am sure that, you know, they will be capable of healing to a certain extent. So we can all integrate. So if a person is utilizing this one, and you can also integrate. So there is the infinite possibility of enhancing the technique utilizing your own expertise.
Because there also we use the mind, we use our mind to inhibit a chakra or to expand a chakra or to balance it, and all that we use. So it is again a lot of mind being used there to work on the etheric matter, the mental matter, and all
Yes,
that.
absolutely. So that is what, you know, see, in the Western science, they will be saying that, you know, mind, body. Mind is that, so that is also in a metaphorical way I was telling in the quantum mechanical explanation given by David Bohm. The quantum potential is guiding, that is the wave that is guiding the particle. So the same way, I would say that instead of the quantum potential, there are other, we call it as spirit or soul, then we have the psyche or the mind, then we have the physical body. So we need to heal all these together, bind together, so which will be known as the wholeness. So when we have the wholeness, so in order to achieve this wholeness, you can utilize not only one theory or one therapeutic dimension, but also you can utilize many other therapeutic tools. You can work them together, you can also integrate, you can develop further.
Thank you, Doctor.
I think, thank you, Father Matthew. Before we close, I just have one announcement. So next week we have another program coming up as a part of our Book Lovers Forum. We have a discussion on past life regression therapy by Dr. Rakesh Jain from Gurukul Kankri University, Haridwar. He has written a book on past life regression. So we'll be discussing that. Soon you will get the information from Abhay. So if you're interested, please register. So next next Saturday evening is going to be that. So it will be conducted as a webinar, and as all the other webinars, most of the webinars which we conduct is going to be free again. So that once again, thank you, Father Dr. Matthew Chandragundal, for this wonderful session. And if, by the way, for all the participants, if you have any questions going forward in this domain, please mail us or message us. We will definitely get answers from Father Matthew, and he's a very good friend of us. So we'll get back to you in this direction. So thank you all for being with us. And I could see a lot of familiar faces and regular faces here. So very happy to see them again. So we'll meet next week for discussing on another topic. Thank you once again. Good night and stay safe. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Ginny, Dr. Ginny, for this wonderful session and for the beautiful introduction. And I am very happy to see a very large number of, and hearty congratulations to Dr. Ginny and the Dost group. And maybe we are capable of interacting and to develop that ABCD group. Thank you.
Thank you. Abhay, you have
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ginny. Thank you, Dr. Matthew, for joining us today. It's an honor to have you here with us. And thank you, everyone, for all your enthusiastic participation. We'll be now closing the session. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.